The average professional pays for 11 different software subscriptions every single month. What if 5 AI tools could replace all of them? From how you write and research to how you design, code, and automate, we are breaking down 5 AI-powered platforms that are collapsing entire software categories into one. Each entry on this list kills more of your legacy stack than you would expect, starting with the tool displacing the most categories at once. Number 1. AI assistants like Claude and ChatGPT are collapsing more software categories than any other tool on this list. What started as simple chatbots now sits at the center of knowledge work, handling everything from idea generation to research, drafting, and editing, all in a single interface. These large language models do not just write emails or summarize articles. With context windows stretching up to 200,000 tokens, Claude can process entire books or months of email threads in one go. ChatGPT's plugin ecosystem, now replaced by custom GPT models and actions, brings thousands of specialized tools into the same chat, booking meetings, running code, even pulling data from spreadsheets, all without leaving the conversation. The result is a direct hit to legacy tools. Grammarly, email drafting assistants, and dedicated research platforms become redundant when a single prompt can rewrite, fact-check, and synthesize at scale. It is not just about convenience. Adoption is surging. ChatGPT Enterprise is already in use at 80% of Fortune 500 companies. And Anthropic's Claude is gaining ground in legal, finance, and technical fields. For professionals, this means fewer subscriptions, less tab fatigue, and faster workflows. But there is a catch. Large language models still hallucinate, sometimes inventing facts or citations. The solution is human-in-the-loop verification. Every AI-generated draft should be reviewed and outputs cross-checked against trusted sources. Enterprises are building these guardrails in, using prompt engineering and fact-checking layers to reduce errors by up to 70%. The bottom line, one AI assistant now replaces entire stacks of writing, editing, and research tools, with the breadth to reshape how modern teams work. In second place, AI workspaces like Notion. AI and MEM are redefining how teams organize, store, and act on information. Where professionals once juggled a patchwork of tools, Asana for project management, Trello for boards, Evernote for notes, and Confluence for wikis. These AI-first platforms bring every layer of knowledge work into a single, dynamic environment. Notion AI, integrated since 2023, now powers more than half of all Notion workspaces. It automatically summarizes meeting notes, generates action items from unstructured text, and links related information across projects, transforming static documents into a living knowledge graph. MEM takes this a step further with AI agents that capture and retrieve insights on demand, making every conversation, file, and idea instantly searchable. The impact is measurable. Gartner's latest report notes that firms migrating to AI workspaces often face a 3-month transition, driven not by lack of features, but by the sheer volume of legacy data and the friction of exporting from deeply entrenched systems. Still, the payoff is clear. Teams gain a unified source of truth, eliminating the silos that slow down decision-making. These platforms do not just store information, they turn it into actionable workflows, feeding assets directly into creative and operational tools downstream. There is a critical caveat. Proprietary formats and limited export options can create vendor lock-in, raising governance and compliance concerns for organizations with strict data retention needs. The most forward-thinking teams now mandate API-based open exports and regular audits to ensure they can migrate data if needed. Even with these guardrails, the shift to AI workspaces marks a break from the old model of fragmented software stacks, consolidating knowledge management into a single, intelligent layer. Third on our list, generative design platforms like Canva AI and Adobe Firefly are collapsing creative workflows that once required a half dozen separate apps. In the past, building a brand kit meant toggling between Photoshop for image edits, Shutterstock for stock photos, Buffer for social scheduling, and PowerPoint for templates. Now, a single prompt in Canva Magic Studio can generate a full suite of branded assets, logos, social posts, presentations, even video clips ready for every channel. Adobe Firefly, tightly integrated with Creative Cloud, brings text to image, generative fill, and style transfer into Photoshop and Illustrator, automating hours of manual editing. The scale of adoption is staggering. 85% of Canva creations now use AI features. That is not a niche experiment. It is a wholesale shift in how design gets done. For small businesses and solo creators, this means skipping expensive stock subscriptions and template marketplaces entirely. Even large teams are consolidating, slashing design turnaround from days to minutes. But there is a critical caveat. The legal ground beneath generative design remains unsettled. Ongoing lawsuits like Getty Images versus Stability AI target the use of copyrighted material in AI training. And while Canva and Adobe emphasize licensed datasets, the risk of IP contamination has not gone away. For professionals, this means reading the fine print. Enterprise contracts increasingly demand indemnity clauses and provenance tracking for every asset. In the rush to replace the creative stack with AI, the promise is speed and scale, but the guardrail is legal due diligence. As generative platforms reshape design, the balance between efficiency and compliance has never been more urgent. Number 4 on our list, AI code assistants like Cursor and GitHub Copilot are transforming software development from the inside out. Where developers once spent hours scouring Stack Overflow for answers or piecing together boilerplate code, these tools now generate entire code blocks, write doc strings, and even refactor projects with a single prompt. Cursor, built as an AI native code editor, takes natural language instructions and applies edits across entire repositories, refactoring, debugging, and even generating unit tests on demand. GitHub Copilot, already integrated into the workflows of 1.8 million paid users, leverages GPT-4o to suggest context-aware code in over 70 languages, accelerating everything from prototyping to deployment. The productivity gains are hard to ignore. GitHub's own data shows that Copilot users complete tasks up to 55% faster, with many teams reporting a 20% reduction in coding time. For solo developers and small teams, this means skipping the junior developer phase entirely. Routine tasks, boilerplate, and documentation are handled by AI, freeing up time for higher-level design and review. Even documentation, often neglected, is now auto-generated and kept in sync with code changes. But the race to automate comes with real risks. A 2025 study found that 45% of Copilot-generated code failed basic security tests, with vulnerabilities concentrated in languages like Java. License contamination is another lurking danger. AI suggestions sometimes reproduce GPL-licensed code, exposing companies to legal claims. To counter these risks, leading teams now enforce human-in-the-loop review, run automated vulnerability and license scans on every AI-generated commit, and require senior engineer sign-off before merges. As code assistants take over the routine layers of development, the new standard is clear. AI speeds up delivery, but only with robust guardrails and professional oversight. Number 5. AI automation platforms like Zapier AI and Make are quietly eliminating the need for manual operations and repetitive admin work. For decades, teams relied on a patchwork of spreadsheets, email reminders, and endless CRM data entry to keep their businesses running. Zapier AI agents, introduced with Zapier Central, now orchestrate multi-app workflows that move data, trigger follow-ups, and enrich records, all without human intervention. Make, with its visual scenario builder and AI nodes, lets non-coders automate everything from lead capture to invoice processing in minutes. The effect is profound. Millions of automations, called zaps, run in the background every day, stitching together apps that were never designed to talk to each other. Instead of hiring more operations staff or paying for separate integration tools, professionals can now set up conditional workflows that handle onboarding, reporting, and customer updates automatically. This compresses what once required multiple SaaS subscriptions into a single automation layer. But there is a hidden risk. Silent failures, when a workflow breaks and no one notices, can leak revenue, miss critical updates, or create compliance gaps. Industry studies show that without proper monitoring, up to 15% of automations fail quietly, often going undetected for weeks. To guard against this, leading teams use observability dashboards and automated alerts, ensuring every workflow is tracked end to end. As the final piece in the AI stack, automation platforms operationalize the outputs of writing, design, and code, moving assets and data where they are needed, instantly. The result is a software backbone that replaces the glue of manual admin, closing the loop on end-to-end digital work. Across all 5 entries, one truth emerges. AI isn't just streamlining work, it's erasing the boundaries between software categories. The days of paying for 11 separate tools are numbered. Consolidation isn't a future trend, it is happening now. Subscribe to the Signal Layer for weekly AI and tech explainers.